Is it hot where you are? It's mid-May here and it's hot. I mean, really hot. It's been up to almost 100 before today. I think yesterday was maybe, I don't know, 95, something like that. And it wasn't our first hot day here in the Southwest Desert. This is typical. Summer's not here technically yet. That's not till sometime in June. But it is hot already. And I just wanted to share a few ways I stay cool and try to keep my house cool so I don't have to use the air conditioning as much. And it helps save money and makes me pretty comfortable. One way I keep my house cool is to add window coverings on every window. I don't have too many windows, but I have a large patio door and I have those slats, that you can turn them so they're open like this, and then you can turn them so that they're closed. And I don't love them, but they do the trick. And I am cheap, let's face it. They actually do the job and block out the sun and subsequently the heat. And then, like in my bedroom, for instance, I just have a pair of drapes with a sheer panel in the middle that lets in some light. But I don't ever open those up because, it's my bedroom and I sleep in there and I don't want any light coming in. And that works. You can also buy blackout drapes or curtains or buy blackout fabric, which I've done before. And you sew it to the existing drapes you have. It's like a kind of a mixture between a plasticky or rubber fabric. It's opaque, you cannot see through it, the sun can't get through. It really does block out the heat and sun. So if you live in an extremely hot area, that is a good idea if you want to take the time to replace your drapes or add the blackout fabric to the back of your existing window coverings. Another way to kind of seal off your house from the heat is to use like weather stripping seal around the doors and windows so that the warm air can't get in. It's kind of like, keeping the cold drafts out in the winter, but it works also for heat. So that's worth taking the time to do. Another way to stay cool is to use fans. It'll help. I've read that actually like a ceiling fan heats up the room because of the motor running and everything, but it feels cooler because the air is moving. I don't know. It sounds logical, but I know if I'm sitting under a ceiling fan, I feel a lot cooler than if the ceiling fan is not going. So I use ceiling fans. I have one here in my living room and I have one in my bedroom, and I turn them on every time I'm in there. It helps a lot. And if you don't have a ceiling fan, you could use a small box fan or a pedestal fan or, just a personal size one directed at you or wherever you like it. Some people don't want the air blowing right at them. I do. Personally, it doesn't bother me. I like it. But any way you can help cool yourself off without having to run the air conditioning as much is going to save you money. And I'm going to show you my ceiling fan. Okay, this is my ceiling fan in my living room. And it's on high, so it's really going fast. Kind of makes me dizzy, but I don't look at it. It just feels good. So in the summer, ceiling fans should rotate counterclockwise. And this one is, if you throw a tissue up, it would fall down. If it's going clockwise, it would suck the blades. If the blades are going clockwise, it would suck the tissue up. And that's what you want for winter, to move the hot air or whatever. Tip number 3 is to limit the use of heat generating appliances in the heat of the day. Like I have made a casserole or baked something, a dessert in the morning when it's cool, so that I don't heat up the house in the hottest part of the day. It's a little inconvenient, but it works, and it helps the house not have to be cooled down as much. So the oven is a big heat generator, and so is your clothes dryer. I personally don't use my clothes dryer. I have a drying rack that I use outside, and it dries my clothes very quickly. Works great. The sun and the heat do the job. So if you do use a clothes dryer, try to limit the use during the hottest part of the day. And another thing with, I wanted to mention the electric company has time of use hours. Generally, like ours right now are from mid-afternoon to early evening is when the electric prices are the highest. So I limit my use during those hours because it's the hottest part of the day. And most people are using more air conditioning, I think, at that time. So they're just trying to get people to not use as much if possible. And tip number 4 is to use the weather to your advantage. Here in the desert, it cools down at night. It can be 20 to 30 degrees cooler in the middle of the night and in the early morning than it is in the heat of the day. So I often open my windows and door so that the screen door can let in air first thing in the morning, because it's cooler outside than it is in the house, and I just make sure the air conditioning won't click on. And it cools the house down a little bit. But then I make sure to close up the house, close all the windows, close the doors before it gets hot, which is around 9 a.m. But it's nice to have the fresh air for a few hours, and it's not humid here, so that's not a problem. So if it works for you, that might be a good option for cooling down your house a little bit, because otherwise it'd be crazy to open the windows when it's so hot outside, when it's over 80 here all the time, except overnight when it does cool down, and I take advantage of that for even just an hour. I like having the fresh air. Feels good. And tip number 5 is to add a few indoor plants if you like them. I have this airplane or spider plant with these little airplanes or spiders, whatever you want to call them, and a little Christmas or holiday cactus. And those are my only 2 indoor plants right now, but I plan to get more because I recently learned that they can help cool the air inside. I'm not sure how it works. I'm not, sciencey, but if it works, that's a good thing. And it helps clean the air too, to have indoor plants, and they're lovely. I like having them around. I wanted to share a few ways that I personally keep myself cool without having to use the air conditioning as much. I use a cool neck, especially if I'm going to go outside and walk or, just be out there for any length of time, maybe watering the plants. It's a piece of fabric. I've made these before. If you sew, you can make it. If you're interested, I can do a quick video on how to make these, but basically it's fabric, and you add these little pellets inside that I ordered on Amazon, and they expand. And I'm going to show you how it expands. Okay, I have a bowl of water right here, and I'm going to add some ice cubes. I'm going to add some ice cubes to it. And I'm going to put the cool neck in. Just put the whole thing in. Let it soak. I'm going to put those ice cubes on top of it to weigh it down so it's staying in the water. Just like that. And pretty soon I will show you how it expands, a little cool gel little deals expand, they get full of water. It's dork alert time. I, wear my hat when I'm going to go outside. And here's the cool neck. It's all puffy. This is the flat end. This is like if you can see how flat it is and how thick this is. So what you do, you put it around your neck, and it's really cold because it was sitting in ice water. And then you just kind of adjust it wherever you want it to be. And it stays cool for the most part for quite a while. I'd say 15-20 minutes. And if you're just wearing it in the house, you can keep a bowl of ice water and dunk it in there again to cool it off. If you're outside, it's going to warm up and not stay as cool quicker. It's going to warm up quicker. But it is a nice way to be out there in the heat if you have to, rather than not wearing a cool neck. And I wear a hat with a brim. I don't do it all the time. I should wear sunscreen. I don't very often because I don't like the way it feels on my face, which is a stupid reason. But there are ways to stay cool, to keep your body cool so that you are not as miserable. And that's pretty important, I think, in the heat. And I wanted to show you another thing I do. It's kind of windy here today, but I'm going to open up the umbrella at my patio table because sometimes the shade helps to keep the house cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. It's too windy. It's too windy. I'm not gonna open it up today. But you get the idea. It's an umbrella. You open it up, you turn the crank, and it will shade a certain area, which is helpful. And my last bonus tip is to, if you get overheated or, not dangerously overheated, but if you're just hot, if you've been outside and, you just feel kind of sweaty and miserable, put your feet in a tub of cool water. Or you just, don't want to turn on the air conditioning. All the little tips that I've shown can add up to a more pleasant body temperature that you can tolerate without having to turn your air conditioning to a lower temperature and cost more money. So, how do you stay cool? I would love to hear any and all personal tips on keeping yourself cool in the summer months. It can be pretty brutal here, and I don't like it. So in case you're new here, I am Do It Myself Peg, and I talk here on my YouTube channel about frugal living, just a variety of things that I ramble about, and I really appreciate you dropping by and listening. If you liked this video, consider giving it a like, and if you haven't, consider subscribing. And I will see you next time.